Captain Emery, you're back from the Jean Pierre tournament. The team performance, was it to what you wanted it, or was it something that you felt the team could have been better at?
Well, because it wasn't the same team as the year before, so I knew it was going to be other challenges to do. But we played really good with the team we had, and it was a good outcome.
What about your performance overall? Are you pleased with what you've done? Do you feel you could have done better?
I felt like I could have done better.
In what way?
Played a little harder with a lot of stuff, just more aggression.
Now that you had time to reflect, you've been back home for a little while now, you played it back in your mind, you probably played every game back in your mind. What do you think you yourself need to do as a leader, as a captain, to make sure that when you go out in between the lines, your team is ready for the entire time you have to be out there?
I need to be more talkative on the court, be very vocal, give more encouragement. Yeah.
All right. Okay, Coach Evans?
Yeah.
Your expectations of the team, when we went, was to play hard, see if we can get some wins, and we got that from the start. The results didn't go our way the second time, well, towards the end, but overall, what do you think of the team performance?
Well, I think this team was a very bonded team. I think that they all performed to the best of their ability on every occasion. When you come up against different teams, you come up against different challenges. And I feel that they handled themselves extremely well and done the best that they could under their circumstances. No, it didn't go all the way towards the end, but at the end of the entire tournament, it did go our way because Bermuda was able to make a name for ourselves.
When you look back at the tournament itself, what are we not doing here that we could do to make us more challenging in this particular tournament?
Well, like I said, here in Bermuda, we're very passive, and we allow passive netball. The umpires down here call every single last thing. They don't allow people to really challenge for the ball. And so when we go overseas, it's like a wake-up call, and we're like, oh, wait a minute, I can do this and I can do that. And it takes us a while to get into our rhythm once we realize that we can do those things. So I feel in order for us to better as players, we need to probably up the umpiring to begin with, so that it can allow for that more aggressive style play, and it will help to nurture the players from an earlier age.
Earlier, Coach Evans was talking about the fact that with the time you have to prepare the team, how much time should we be preparing ourselves for? Because this tournament is every year, whether we go or not, it's every year. How much time out in advance should we be rallying to get a squad together and then start breaking it down?
Believe it or not, with the time that we did have, I thought we prepared the team as best we could under the circumstances. But to answer your question, the season starts around in September, October. So within the first 2 weeks of September, October, when the season starts, it will give the coaches an indication as to which players that are ready for the tournament, knowing the type of players that we need. So I would say maybe as early as 2 weeks into the season or 3 weeks into the season. That way it gives you, like I said, give a good indication as to which players are ready. Also, I would say that we need to align our under 16 division, align with the same age group down there. So that way we got the players there at our fingertips. And then once we identify those players, then we can start training right into the Christmas season, straight up into the New Year.
I know there was some talk, and any one of you can take this. There was some talk last season, I think at the beginning of the season, where they weren't allowing junior players to play in the senior league, and that kind of was holding us back in that regard. Do you think?
It's imperative that any players that are playing for Bermuda need to play in the senior league. I just feel it challenges them more. It gives them more opportunities to shine and actually develop as a player, because I mean most of these girls are excelling in their age group, right? So if we put them up against like the adults or a more challenging environment, then I think we will then see the results from that.
And just to add that, it also helps with our mental and physical preparation as well. In the junior league, it's not as physical. In the senior league, it's pretty physical. When we get down to tournaments, our girls face physicality. So you want to get them the exposure while they're here. So the best thing to do is get our girls exposed in the senior league, where they could take a little bump, be able to handle it, be mentally prepared for it, and then be able to continue playing on and adapt to the conditions.
How does the senior league here help the development in that regard? Does that, because it's more physical, they'll get used to it? But then a few years ago, we had an under-16 team go to Europe for the World Championship. Was it under-16?
Under 21s?
Under
21s, yeah.
Is that two different styles of the game? Is the Europeans play a more, what I want to say, laid back, and Caribbeans are more aggressive?
Well, one thing I would say that Bermudians, generally speaking, Bermudians are short people.
Right.
The senior league, we have some tall people in the senior league. So we need that physicality, we need that height, because that's where we lack. We try our best, but when you're playing against a 6'2", 6'4" shooter, and our tallest player is like 6 feet at most, it's a disadvantage to us. So in the senior league, you get the 6'2" players, and you see like Danielle Arena. So we want to practice against her. So we get used to the overheads coming in, get used to how to practice, how to defend against the overheads coming into the circle.
So is that something you guys want to present to the committee, that in order for us to be able to compete at the youth level, you can answer, because it's where you are at right now. Is that something you think you want to challenge yourself with?
Yes.
Yeah.
And she currently actually plays in the senior
yeah.
league.
Right.
She plays in the senior league. So I guess I can speak to it and say we do every year that we go to this tournament, we put in a request that all these players play up without being penalized, because as it states, if you play 3 games up, you have to stay up. So we don't want them to be penalized. We want them to be successful in their age group, because some of them are still 12, 13, some 14. So some of them are playing under 14, some under 16s. So it's important for them to be successful at their age group and then be challenged. So you don't want to just have them stagnant and playing in just one division. You want to be able to let them excel so that they can see reap some rewards, and then you want to challenge them at the same time.
But also the senior league is a higher quality league than the junior league. So you want our players to play against the high quality players, because that's what you have when we go down to the Caribbean. We're playing against high quality players. So the more we play against high quality players here, prepares us for playing against the players down there.
When we look at the quality of players we have, in the junior level, you can see a lot of talent.
Yes.
But then there's a gap. Why and what happened?
Well, I mean, maybe I can just speak to it and say, I think that we limit ourselves. I think we just look for players that want to just play netball. We need players that play other sports. We need players that do track and field, that do basketball, that have these other attributes that, we can put into play in the sport of netball. So I think as clubs in general, we need to look beyond just that little girl that just wants to come and play netball. Specifically when we're talking about at the national level, we need to look at that girl that has other attributes, that's strong, that's firm, that's able to take a bump, and some of those other sports help with those things.
Amongst your friends and your teammates, what are some of the talk about what you want to do differently next year?
Well, if they do like an under 17 team, I want to be able to give, of course, and play my heart.
Now, what can you offer if you've aged out? What can you offer the program that you've just aged out of? Would you continue to train with them to try and show them? Do you try and encourage people to come back and give back?
Well, I would be one of those who would play against them in the practice matches and give them the little bumps that they're going to get down there to show that this is what you're going to get.
Bumps or big bumps?
Big bumps, but this is what you're going to get, and you got to stand tall.
Okay. Coming out of that, what are some of the things you thought and learned about yourself being in Barbados, being challenged the way you were? You're 1-2 games.
I can keep my head a lot. I might say 1 or 2 things, but afterwards I would calm down and I just play my game.
As coach, what are some of the things you would want to work on next time around to ensure we can possibly pick up another win or get even closer to the teams that beat us?
Definitely the mental toughness. I feel that we lapse in concentration sometimes, specifically when we're getting down into the dying minutes of the game. It's that much more important that, as players, we focus and we tune in and we take the instructions that the coaches are giving us and not play our own game. So we need players that, can push through, with that mental toughness, and maybe we need to challenge them a little bit more on the mental side, because we have all the attributes when it comes to the physicality, when it comes to the fitness and things like that. But I think we need to put them in other scenarios that forces them to actually use the brain a little bit more, and not to say that they're not using it, but for them to continuously to stay in tune for the entire 40 minutes that the game is being played.
But also they gotta believe in the coaches and also stick to the game plan. So unless the game plan changes from the bench, you gotta stick to the game plan. If they stick to the game plan, they'll be more successful. I'm not saying that they didn't, but
Right.
it's about
how do we do that? Is that the mental part?
yeah.
And would
Yeah.
you contribute a little bit to maybe physical as well, tiredness?
Yeah,
That
that
you start getting away from certain things?
it all plays a part. It all plays a part. But also continuously being challenged, and that's what we don't have down here in the league. Being challenged at that level, at a quality play coming at you. You know what I mean? Teams coming at you hard and fast.
Is this a tournament? Because you and I had a conversation. Is this a tournament you think Bermuda need to get a grip of and see for themselves? See the quality and what the level is throughout the Caribbean?
Most definitely, I think people have a better appreciation. So it'd be nice if you were able to host the tournament here, and then hopefully the crowd will come out and see the level of competition that our girls are up against, and then they really appreciate how we girls performed during that tournament.